Hey artsy friends, welcome to my second composition notebook art journal series. I am processing a dream in this page, so I'll explain more, but I'm actually on my last page, well, almost last page. I had made a little key for my new Posca markers on the back page when I started this journal, and now I am to the end. Okay, so the screen went blurry. It's not you, it's me. This is me writing out my thoughts as I am processing a dream that I had. And so it has some kind of personal information in there, but so I figured I would just blur the camera a little bit. But that's me just kind of thinking about it, thinking about what it meant, thinking about what I'm going to do about it, and kind of just putting it down there. And then I'm going to cover it up and then allow some of the asemic writing to kind of peek through. And I'm starting with kind of greens are what came to my mind initially. So I got all my greens out and a few blues. That was just kind of the color scheme I was feeling. And I'm using my silicone brush, which is fairly new to me, and it's really smooth. I love the way that it lays paint on the page. Okay, so I'm looking at all the blues and trying to decide on which one I want to use, and then I just grabbed a pink instead. Sometimes you change gears, and that's okay. That's what I love about this whole process, is that there's a lot of freedom. So if you just kind of get a whim and go, you know what, I was thinking blues and greens, but this pink is just calling my name today, so I'm going to use the pink. I do want to not turn the pink and green into like a blurry brown or anything, because it doesn't really blend. So I am going to grab a rag here and wipe off some of the areas that have overlapped into the green, because I don't really like the color that it's creating, because it's this paint, as you can see, both of them don't cover completely. So there's a lot showing through, which is kind of what I wanted with the writing, to show through here and there in the background. And I mean, I'm going to continue to add layers, so you won't be able to read pretty much anything when you're done, when it's done. But that's kind of the point. I used to journal a lot of my thoughts, and not necessarily dreams, but I would look back, and a lot of times it's like, I don't really need to go and revisit that. So I've kind of adapted this new idea of journaling in my art journal and then covering it up. I like it. Okay, so now I am going to go on to the next stage, which is collaging. And these are some collage papers that I made. I have not shown this video yet, so little sneak peek spoiler there. I am going to share a video, I don't know, sometime in the near future, hopefully, about different options for collaging. And look at that. I just made this beautiful page, and I got pink paint on the edge. So, which, you know what, this has happened before when I use paper towel in between pages to protect, theoretically, my pages. And the paper towel absorbs the paint, and then it kind of bleeds through on the other side. That's what happened. I was a little sloppy. So I like to use parchment paper instead. I think that works just a little bit better. So I wiped it off, and I'm going to go back with white paint when I'm finished with this page and see if I can kind of just touch it up a little bit. So as I started adding the pink paint, I realized that I kind of wished I would have left some of the writing just with a white background, and which kind of led me to my next thought of like, okay, when I'm collaging, maybe I want to bring in some black and white elements. Seem to be doing that more and more on my pages, just realizing that when you add black and white to anything, it just adds contrast, and I like the look of that. So I am using these long pieces and just tearing wherever I feel like it. So I had cut off this little scrap and tossed it to the side, and then I decided I liked it for some reason. It's just like the edge of the collage book page, and I don't know. I like how the little black things did their thing. Don't you love my technical terms? Yeah, so just doing some more tearing, some more collaging, moving around the page. I mean, it's all just kind of trial and error looking, you know. So if you'll notice though, what do you have? What's in common on both sides? Did you guess? 3. So I have 3 groups of those little, you know, squares with 4 dots on them. And then on the other side, I've got 3 long strips going vertically. Okay, now I'm going to add in some wavy lines, and I'm going to kind of balance that out. I'm trying to figure out where I want to put it. But, you know, I've got it in the top third on the left side. So I want to put it somewhere on the lower third on the right side. Does that make sense? That's when we talk about balance or weight, you kind of just imagine things having, you know, mass and weight, and how would they balance the page? If there's a big gust of wind, would it be anchored down? I also think it's kind of fun to have some elements come off the page. And here's my third wavy line. So, and then there's another element of composition you can kind of look at, and that's the 3 wavy lines kind of create a triangle between them. So that's another element. Yeah. That little extra piece threw off my whole, you know, triangular theory or my rule of thirds or whatever, but that's okay. Rules are made to be broken. So I started with a brush and decided, nah, I'll just get my fingers in it because I really like finger painting. It's fun. If you haven't tried it, you should. It's really fun. I feel somehow like more connected to the page, like there's more of me on it when I actually physically touch it rather than just using tools and brushes and sponges and things like that. And this page is actually really personal. Obviously, I journaled quite a bit about my dream, and I will share a little bit more with you about the dream. So it was very simple. I mean, a lot of times dreams are, when I feel like there's a dream that's significant, it's metaphorical, and, you know, I have to kind of like interpret, well, what does that symbol mean? Or what does this symbol mean? Or that. But this dream was not like that. It was very direct. I feel like it was a revelation straight from God. It was simple and quick and to the point, and it was a big sheet of black paper, and on the top in white was written the word decision. And I don't remember if I was actually awake, you know, that like dreamy state where you're like thinking, but I knew what it meant because I could hear the tone and why that word was significant. It was not, he wasn't angry with me. It wasn't like a condemning thing, but it was like, you need to make a decision. Are you going to respect him, or are you not going to respect him? Are you going to love him, or are you not going to love him? And so I think you can probably deduce, you know, the struggle that I'm going through. And it's like, the word was very different from the word choice. So sometimes we're forced to make a choice, and we compare our 2 options and try to pick the best one. But the word decision held more weight to me, as it added the implication of moving forward with determination and resolve, like a commitment to make a choice every day to align my attitude and my actions with the decision. So that's, I think, gives you a glimpse of the meaning for me. And so it was very personal. And so I wanted to put it in my art journal because one of the ways I use art journaling, it's a lot of times it's just fun, you know, something to do that I enjoy, but it's also a place where I want to be able to flip through and remind myself of the things that I've learned, or had something that's inspired me, something I've become convicted about. So anyway, I'm going on and on about my dream, and I'm not really explaining what I'm doing here. This is modeling paste, if you didn't catch that. And it's a really thick medium that is kind of fun to work with. You can stencil on it. It dries pretty much translucent, but it does take a little bit to dry. But it gives it a raised kind of embossed feel. You can also smear it on your page and then scratch in it, which is called sgraffito. That's another way you could use modeling paste. I don't know if there's other ways that you use modeling paste. I would love some more ideas. I've used quite a bit of it. I might have to get some more at some point, but this has lasted me over a year. And I just like the added dimension that when the page is finished, you can run your hand over it and it feels like there's texture to it. So I like that. So this is a new stencil. I got it from Temu. I know some of you just hate Temu, so sorry. But I like the kind of braille feeling to it. I didn't really think of it as that until I started doing this page, but I thought, oh, that's kind of what it reminds me of. It's just, it's like a different language. Ooh, I just now made the connection with my dream being like a form of communication. And I don't know if I said this in the beginning. I don't think all dreams are like significant. I think sometimes it's the pizza that you ate or whatever. But every now and then I do feel like either, straight from God or like your subconscious is kind of telling you something. So there's lots of dreams in the Bible. So there's that. Okay, so now I am bringing in my blue elements. I really like this color of blue. It is called Island Blue. It's from Anita's acrylic. Okay, I'm 47. I just picked up the bottle and I had to pull it away from my eyes to see it. That's a bad sign, isn't it? My nearsighted vision might soon be going downhill. Hopefully not. So if you're wondering why I'm painting the next page, I'm just using up the paint on my palette that I still have, and it will kind of prep my next page, which will be my last page of the journal before I do the cover, and then I will do a big flip through for you. For some reason, I felt like I needed to go over this word again and decided to do it with a paintbrush instead of just a Posca marker. And as I was doing it, I was just really meditating on the word and what it meant to me and, if I was going to make the decision that I needed to make. So I made sure all of the modeling paste was completely dry, and now I am going over the top of it with a silver Posca pen because I love metallics and shiny things. So I want my little braille looking elements to kind of reflect on the page as well as being raised. So I'm just going over all of them. Okay, my page is complete, but I have chosen to do a layer of Mod Podge on top, and it'll dry clear, and it just kind of seals it in. And sometimes I like just the way that final coat makes it just feel like one coherent piece. I don't know. There's something that kind of completes it, seals the deal, so to speak. And I'm fixing my little pink smudges. They won't be perfect, but that's okay. I'm not a perfectionist. So I'm happy with the way it turned out. I hope that you enjoyed watching my process and that you come back and hang out with me again. Have a blessed day.